guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of New Jersey. This is season 14, episode 10. So let's get into it. Let's get spicy. So Jennifer was on Watch What Happens Live, I want to say on Monday, and I finally saw the clips on All True T's page. So there were two clips that stood out to me, even though she posts like 8. So I was actually surprised that Kathy was there, Rich and Kathy. And she was asked the question about, what Melissa said on Jeff Lewis's podcast about, them being across the street from them, living in the same neighborhood as Melissa and Joe and her remaining kids that are staying at the house and wanting them to like reconnect. So I did Rich's response. Well, Kathy was able to respond. So let me play that clip for you.
I heard on Jeff Lewis Live that y'all are building a house right by Melissa's new house.
Yeah, Melissa Way.
Right.
Apparently she owns the street.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
is that true?
interesting. You'll be named.
No.
Oh.
No, but you are building a house right by
Yes,
her.
we are.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I had
So
my eye on that house
she
forever.
said she wants to get back together. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
It's very convenient.
Isn't it?
Looks like Kathy has the same energy as her husband. Very much, girl, we not trying to be a part of your life. We're good over here. And I was actually surprised when she was like, she act like she don't own the street. It made me feel like she felt like Melissa is like olive branch or wanting Joe and, Rich and Kathy to make amends and Rosie to make amends wasn't genuine. But I feel like I get where Kathy's coming from. If you haven't reached out till now because you and Teresa are on the outs, it doesn't, it's not genuine anymore, because it's like you should have had that same feeling beforehand, you know what I mean? But yeah, so the last thing I want to talk about is Jennifer. So it's another basically an update, because that was an update about that situation. She was also asked about the blogs, and this is what she had to say.
From Reality T, what do you have to say about the countless screenshots of messages between her and bloggers where she seems to be leaking information from events and setting up scenes to take place on Jersey? What's your reaction to that?
I mean, listen, I just want you to know that all bloggers out there start off as fans, and we are very good to our fans, and some get more invested than others. Is there a very big lesson in here? Absolutely. But
what's the lesson?
Don't talk to anybody. Don't talk to bloggers. Don't be so candid and naive and think you're being nice to the fan in an attempt to not make them not like you, and really just say I'm not dealing with you anymore.
Right.
Nobody is innocent here. Everybody talks to bloggers, Andy.
Right.
Everybody talks.
Too much bloggers
now
on
it's just
Housewives.
now
Yeah,
mine is just being put on
specific.
blast. But I will say that theirs is being put on blast too.
Okay.
It's just too hard to follow, and who cares at this point?
Here's my thing. I actually expected that response from Jennifer, because she's pretty much been saying the same thing. We all play in the blogs. We all do this. I just got busted out. And that to me is the honest truth. We all know they give tea to people. All of these housewives do that. They all want people on their side when things go down on the show and people talk about it and things of that nature. They just got busted out, to be honest. I wonder if they're gonna bring Kathy back, because it does seem like it was a very warm welcome. And then to find out that Bill and Jennifer knew Kathy. And I think that's probably because I think Rich is Turkish. And then, Bill and Jennifer are Turkish. So the community in New Jersey might be small where they all know one another. And pretty much Kathy let it be known that I think her daughter was one of Bill's receptionists. And when Kathy and Rich first built their home, Jennifer and Bill went to their house for Christmas. So I feel like if they do bring Kathy back, they're going to probably have to introduce her by way of Jennifer, because it doesn't seem like Kathy is interested in mending fences with Teresa or Melissa. But it was actually nice to see the banter between Kathy and Jennifer. It seemed very genuine and authentic. But let's get into the review. I'm going to be honest. We're just going to have an honest moment. I've already told y'all I feel like this season was very Frito-ish. And it still is that. But now I don't even want the Fritos. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's because I don't know, I'm just not feeling New Jersey anymore. I don't care if the stories end or not. It's like we only got 2 more episodes, and then that their version of an alternative reunion. But I don't know. I think it's because I feel like Dubai is getting better. Like they're hitting their stride with their storylines, and I'm interested in those stories. And then you have Orange County had a great premiere episode, which I feel like blew this whole entire season of New Jersey out the park. That I'm just not like, ugh. And if I wasn't the type of person that like once I start something, I want to finish it, I probably would stop reviewing it because it's not even fun to watch anymore. Because you can tell that everybody is so like stubborn at this point. Like I was on Twitter talking to somebody and a mutual that basically was like, it sucks because this cast could work if they actually wanted to work together. And I was like, that's true. This cast could work if everybody wanted to work together. That it makes sense that the reports coming out about Jennifer Fessler and Dolores being asked back makes sense to me, because it seems like they are the only two people that are like, what we are arguing about is stupid. We could move on from this. Even down to the physical altercation between Danielle and Jennifer. The situation wasn't that deep. Now, again, Jennifer shouldn't have put her hands on Danielle, and I get Danielle's reaction, but like what y'all were arguing about was very trivial. Like she said you was trying to stiff your girl. The girl said you didn't. There was no need for it to escalate to that. And now everyone's in their corners where they're like, I hate this person, I hate that person. And it's like, y'all not arguing about life-changing events. You're not arguing about like the stuff that they're arguing about ain't that deep to where they shouldn't be able to like move forward from it. But because everyone is so like, I'm not budging from my corner or I'm not making amends, we get this. So I'm kind of just over. Not kind of, I am over it. So the episode opens up and we see Melissa, her mom, and Joe go out to eat. And basically what we find out is Melissa is excited yet overwhelmed because this episode she is doing her Envy fashion show. And so we also find out that she's worried about her mom. So like Melissa and her sisters, because I think she said 78. She's getting up there in age. And Melissa and her sisters are starting to notice that like her mom is like forgetting things, and she's getting older in age. But my thing is like, she's 78, like she ain't gonna be as sharp as she used to be. But we also find out that the mom is dating, and Melissa was like, you don't want to settle down with anybody. And the mom was like, girl, no, I'm having fun. And then we find out that the mom has been a widow twice. And I feel like that would put a lot of things in perspective for you, or make you change your outlook on how you view like relationships, if you like with the opposite sex, if you are like, attracted to them. Because it's just kind of like, yeah, like I would be tired of like getting married and then my husband dies. Like that's a lot of stress and trauma and like hurt feelings that I would get tired of like having. So if me just dating around saves me from that, I understand why the mama is doing that, if in fact that's the reason why she's doing it. But also she's 78. It ain't like she need to get married. Maybe she need to find her a boo thing. But then again, 78, like she's around the age where people start to, transition to the afterlife. So I'm like, she might be dealing with the same thing again. So let that lady just have fun. Let her have fun. So, we get this scene of Dolores and Margaret. So Margaret goes over to Dolores's place and, they have a conversation. We find out that Dolores approached Margaret at the Glitter Kids event and was like, girl, we need to talk. And Margaret was like, okay, I'm down to talk. We find out that unfortunately, Joe is being screened for prostate cancer. And then I think I saw a clip from the after show and he actually does have prostate cancer. I hope that little man is okay. Like, I really do. Like, you can tell that Margaret loves her some Joe, and I hope he's okay. I really do. So they then get on to the conversation about Jackie. And she was like, I've never really said anything bad about you. So what Jackie is saying isn't true. I kind of vented, but it was nothing like really bad about you and Paulie. And she was like, well, Margaret was like, well, you kind of like, that's the part. She ends up saying that, like, I was venting to her about you because of what I saw after the reunion. So they show a screenshot of where Teresa was out to dinner with Danielle. I think it was Danielle, Dolores, and Paulie, and it really hurt her feelings because she was like, "Girl, how you gonna be friends with her and her husband is harassing my son?" And Dolores was like, "Okay," and she was like, and then Margaret was like, "The only thing I really said is that this wouldn't have happened if she was still with David, because she was like, Paulie really likes Teresa and Louis. He don't like me." And so Dolores said, "The reason why we kind of feel that way about you, Margaret, is because after that situation, after the reunion, you pulled away from me. I was calling, I was texting, I wasn't getting a response back from you. So of course I'm gonna go kick it with people who want to be cool with me. So what's good?" And so they end up kind of like, they don't apologize to each other, but they kind of just come to the consensus that they're going to do better with their friendship. And then Margaret ends up telling Dolores, "I'm going to have a conversation with Jackie." Although I felt like Margaret said she was done with Jackie that episode where she busted her out with the text message. But I guess not. I guess she decided, you know what, I need to have one final conversation with her to let her know her place. So Margaret was like, "Yeah, I'm going to have one more conversation with her." Dolores ends up admitting that Margaret be talking bad about everybody. And then they show this montage of Margaret talking bad about everybody. And that's the truth. That's why I don't feel like any of them are like victims in this. All of their hands are like dirty to a certain extent. Some might be dirtier than others, but they've all been dragging each other through the mud. And it is what it is. So Dolores just says Margaret just need to learn how to keep her mouth shut and stop talking about my relationship. But I was surprised that she didn't. Dolores at this point is all talk and no smoke. Like, Dolores be running that mouth, but she really don't be, bucking and being about it. And I'd be ready for Dolores to whop somebody, but she don't be about it. And I don't know if that's just because she knows she gonna go to jail if she put hands on somebody, because she might not be able to stop. But I don't know. So then we get this scene of what's her name, Danielle and Nate. They're at home. We find out that she's getting ready for Kids Bop. Her kids are going to be a part of the, I guess they do music videos for Kids Bop. I didn't know that. I was never a Kids Bop kid. I was never a kid. We listen to the real songs, the clean versions in my home. But we find out that Nate was like, "Hey, so have you spoken to Teresa?" And Danielle was like, "No." She was last time we spoke was at the Glitter Kids event, and she was really defending Jennifer. And I mean, what did Danielle expect? Because Danielle was like, not once did Teresa say, "I'm a good person," or "I'm this." I'm like, Danielle, she don't know you like that. Like, she's known Jennifer longer than she's known you. She's probably known you for at least a year, but she's known Jennifer, I think, for at least like 3 or 4 years. So why are you expecting her to rush to your defense so quickly? And why do you need her to rush to your defense? Like, in a sense, if you feel like you didn't do nothing wrong and that Jennifer legit was lying on you, then girl, I wouldn't need Teresa to like validate me. And that might be the Capricorn in me, because when I'm right, I'm right. And when I'm right, I'm right. Especially when that's the problem with me. When I know that I'm right and I'm right is a problem, because I will dig my heels in and be like, "Nah, I know I'm telling the truth." I don't care what you got to say. You can't add no more context to this. I know I'm right and you're wrong. Okay. So I'm just kind of like, okay, girl. So then we talk about her family. So we find out that her dad, like, she was kind of feeling some type of way that her dad didn't come to the Glitter Kids thing. And honestly, this story with Danielle and her dad is confusing to me. We find out that Nate doesn't have a father, so he views Danielle's father as his father because of how long they've been together. And Nate is the one that's constantly reaching out to the dad. And the production asked them in their confessional, because they did a dual confessional together, and they look nice, where she was like, the production lady was like, "So why is Nate the one reaching out to your father and not you?" And she was just like, "I can't take that rejection. I already got rejected from my brother, and I don't think I could live if I get rejected from my father." But it doesn't even seem like the father is rejecting Danielle. To me, what it feels like is Danielle's the one that's being stubborn in this point, because if I sit down and really listen to the story, I still go back to like the brother sending back that baby gift. Because to me, that says a lot. And as someone who has another, like a sibling, if my sister ever sent me something, even if we were fighting, I would know my sister's intentions would be for that baby. Like, I don't see my sister, even if we had beef like that, ever having ill will to my child. But the fact that your brother was like, we don't want that, to me says that this situation is a lot deeper. And then I feel like you always feel like your dad is picking your brother's side. But in my mind, is your brother always the one in the right and you doing too much? Because I feel like even with this situation with Jennifer, I feel like Danielle is holding on too much. Like, I get it. The lady, you feel like the lady lied on your name. She shoved you, so you whopped the you know what out of her. And you just feel like she's trashing you. But to say that you hate her, I think is a lot. Because I was like, I don't know. I don't know. And I feel like the way I feel like the way Danielle is acting with Jennifer kind of shows how she acts with her family, because I'm like, girl, I mean, it was a fight. You won because you reflex as fast as the Flash. You hit her, and pretty much everybody is on your side. So I'm just kind of like, or maybe that's what it is. Like, just like Teresa, she wants Teresa to validate that she's right because maybe she values her opinion above everybody else's. And maybe that's how she feels about her dad. She wants her dad to validate that she's right because maybe she feels like she needs that extra for it to like really stick with her. But yeah, I just think the situation is kind of like, it's not making a lot of sense. I'm sorry, Danielle. It's not making a lot of sense. It's the day of the fashion show. We see Melissa is super duper excited. They have a nice venue space. They got, the 360 camera, food, beverages. Like, she was like, it's going to be a big thing because she was like, back in the day, I guess that's how Envy fashion shows used to be. It would be in the paper. It'd be on the news. So she wants the same as she wants it to happen again. So we find out that she asked Tiffany, I think Tiffany is supposed to be like Danielle's friend, to be a part of the show, the fashion show, like walk in it. Now, here's my thing. I wonder why Tiffany nor the other girl, I think her name is Danielle, maybe, I don't know the girl's name, the redhead chick. What was it about them that production was like, they don't need to be a part of this? Because the fact that they were like referring to her, or when they referred to them, they don't even use a cue card or they take their names out of it. Because there was a scene that was like chopped and screwed kind of weirdly, where the redhead chick and Danielle were having a conversation at Teresa's Namaste situation, and they really didn't even acknowledge, like, it was weird. It was a weird edit. So I'm just wondering why they didn't make the cut. I wonder what was it about them. So we see that everybody's going to the event except Teresa. We see, what's her name, Jennifer Aiden, talk to Teresa and be like, hey girl, I'm going. She was like, Teresa ends up telling her that Danielle won't be at her Namaste event, and Teresa's like, are you going to speak to Danielle? And she was like, no, I'm good. Jennifer's like, I don't have nothing to say to her, I'm good. So then we have this scene of Dolores is also getting ready, and Polly is like, who's all gonna be there? And she tells him, and she was just like, I hope Jennifer and Danielle don't get into it. But she was just like, I'm sick of everybody fighting. Like, everyone is so stubborn and like stuck in their ways. And she's just like, I just don't know. She was like, I know Margaret and Jackie have their situation. She's just like, it's a lot going on and I'm tired. And even Polly was like, I feel like everybody is pretty much unraveling. And I said, that's what it is. That's what it is. So everyone pulls up to the event. We see Jennifer Fessler, Danielle, and Margaret sit down and have a conversation. And Jennifer Fessler was like, no, Margaret asked Jennifer Fessler, well, girl, have you talked to Rachel? And Jennifer Fessler was like, no, and I don't plan to. Because she was like, every time I have a conversation with her, I'm the problem. I'm the issue. And she was like, I ain't really done, like, she was like, and all I've tried to do is like defend her to these people. And then Margaret was like, well, I think that's her issue. She's tired of being defensive. And Jennifer Fessler was like, but I'm not the one putting her on defense, so I don't know why she got an issue with me. So I'm over it. I'm over it. So then Margaret asks Danielle, are you going to speak to Jennifer? And she's like, no. So Danielle in her confessional is like, I don't have nothing to say to her. And then they show a montage of her basically calling that lady everything a child of God and wishing the worst on her. And I'm just like, y'all situation wasn't that deep, Danielle. It wasn't. Like, I get it. I get it. Like, she put her hands on you, and I understand feeling like your space was violated, but it wasn't that deep. And I think that's what's frustrating about this season is I feel like they're like, y'all are too early in the game to be like holding on to things. Her and Rachel, like, y'all just got here. Like, I'm okay with Danielle being like, I don't have nothing to say to her and moving on, but then to like be like, I hate this bitch, I hate her, I wish nothing but bad in her life. And I'm like, girl, you got to be careful with that too. You do. You really do. Like, you know, like they say in the Bible, the life and death is in the power of the tongue. I believe in that, but I also believe in, the spiritual stuff. A lot of people who are spiritualists have said, when you wish bad on somebody, you need to be making sure that it don't fall back on you. Because more times than not, what you put out there is what you're receiving. So I'm like, Danielle, I get it. You don't like her, but like, you might want to be careful. I'm just saying, you might want to be careful. So Jennifer gets there and, the vibes are vibing. And then we see Jackie comes in. She says hi to everyone. She sits down. And then Margaret is like, well, if me and Jackie can be cool and we don't like each other, then you and Jennifer can have a conversation. And she's saying this to Danielle. And, well, then I think Jackie is like, well, girl, the last time we spoke, you really said some nasty things to me. You said that I was a fame whore and all of this stuff. And then Margaret said, I said that after you told me I was beneath you and all of this stuff. And Jackie's like, no, you said that before. And they kind of show the flashback where I think Margaret did say it first. And then Jackie said what she said about like, I'm not playing these mind games with you. So then we see Rachel come and sit down. And it's like Margaret, Rachel, and Danielle's outfits are all from Envy. And so Margaret, like, Margarita, you horrible. Because Margaret is sitting there and she set Jackie up because Jackie thought she was getting this nice compliment from Margaret and she got knocked down because Margaret said, oh, that's a nice outfit. Like, did you get it from Envy? And Jackie's like, no, I have this, and this. I got it from this, and this. And when Rachel comes and sits down, and she's like, oh, Rachel, that's pretty. She said, well, we all got it from Envy. And Jackie's like, for real? Like, Melissa didn't tell me nothing about, like, being gifted, like, an outfit to wear. Like, for real? And Jackie was like, and Margaret was like, well. And then Jackie's like, I haven't done anything to Melissa for her to be treating me this way. So, like, for real? So she said, I guess I knew who my real friends are. And she walks away. And I said, Margaret, you ain't have to do that to her. Jackie got like FOMO and has like this, like she does not like being left out. So she did that on purpose. And Jackie low-key kind of spiraled for a minute. Because then you see Jackie, Jennifer, and Jennifer Fessler talking. And then Dolores walks up. And they're all like complimenting each other's outfits. They're looking at Dolores's purse. And then she was like asking them like, oh, do you have on Envy? Is that Envy? And Dolores was like, well, no. Melissa was like, if you called, she probably would have gifted you an outfit, but I didn't want her to feel the need to have to do that for me. And Jackie was like, well, why didn't Margaret say it like that? She pretty much was like, she was doing it out of spite towards me. Like, Melissa was being mean to me on purpose. And then Jennifer Aiden is like, that's because Margaret's mean. I said, yeah, Margaret is mean sometimes, because there was no need for Margaret to do that to Jackie, but she really don't see it for Jackie. We see the men talk and we find out that unfortunately Frank's dog did pass away. I don't know if he actually proposed to Brittany or not, but I think he did. We actually see Danielle in the kitchen with the boys eating. Everyone is so happy that Danielle popped Jennifer. They're all calling her Floyd Mayweather, knock him out, Danielle. Like, they are happy as hell that she put hands on Jennifer. So we then see Margaret come up And it was such a cute exchange between Margaret and Jennifer Aiden where she was like, oh my God, you could have texted me. You could have said something. And Margaret touches her face like, girl, you okay? Because I heard she whacked the hell out of you. And she was like, well, you look nice. And then Margaret said, you know what? I'm sorry. I could have reached out to you. And Dolores was like, oh my God, I feel like we have hope. Like Margaret's actually like acknowledging Jennifer. She's taking accountability. She's saying sorry. They're having a moment. And then we even find out that Rachel even reached out to Jennifer, and Jennifer thanked her for reaching out to her. And honestly, to me, what it showed is that like Teresa is no longer needed. I know the tree huggers love them some Teresa, but if they could just give Teresa her own show and we just have the women we have here, I feel like the vibes would be vibing. Like we have enough feuds between everybody that this show could probably do fairly well, but I know everybody wants to get rid of like Melissa or Margaret or Teresa or Jennifer. But honestly, to me, I feel like with who we got right now, without Teresa, like they all look like they were having a good time when Jennifer and Margaret were sitting across from each other. It's like, you look good. And then she was like, you look good. We slaying. It was a cute scene. And I'm always going to forever be mad at Margaret and Jennifer for not coming together. Because when I tell you they could have been powerful together on this show and run this show, it's annoying. It's annoying because I saw the vision. So they started the fashion show. Jennifer Aiden shades Melissa, talking about how you gonna have a fashion show and these aren't you didn't design any of these. And I mean, I get what she was saying. Then she made the comment about, it's all women, not men, because the rumor was that, last season that she had an affair, but they said the person that she had an affair with was actually a model. Now, Jennifer, you got to lay off of these affair accusations when we know Bill was sleeping in the pool house and he cheated on you. It's not a good look, especially the way you spiraled out for 2 seasons straight and you have yet to like gain your footing with these women and with yourself. I'm going to need you to calm that down. For Teresa's Namaste Bitches podcast. Now, she calls that girl the good Melissa, and not the evil one her brother is married to. I do know that the podcast is no longer around. I think it's like on a hiatus. Now, I've heard 2 conflicting stories as to why it's on hiatus. Some say that Teresa and Melissa got into it because of Louis. Then I've also seen people say that unfortunately, Melissa suffered a miscarriage and she decided to like step away. I don't know which one is true, but those are the stories that I've heard as to why Namaste Bitches is on hiatus. But I know Teresa has a new podcast. So we see everybody getting ready. We then have this moment with Danielle and her family doing the Kids Bop thing. Honestly, Kids Bop never appealed to me even when I was a child. It just was, I thought it was corny, but I did think it was cute that Danielle got emotional and she was happy for her kids. I just hope she's not a crazy stage mom. So she then has this scene with Nate and they talk about her situation with her father. Again, I feel like Danielle is leaving out key points or parts about that situation, because even with the way that she's acting about this situation with Danielle and how she's coming at at Jennifer, it makes me feel like it might be more intensified with her brother, because I don't think she's wrong in the way that she feels about Jennifer, even though I love me some Jennifer, but I just feel like there's a level to it that is juvenile, but also it's like, why are you like, she latched onto it and she's not letting it go, because it does seem like her dad wants to be a part of her life, wants to be a part of his grandkids' life and Nate's life, but she is keeping him at arm's length, but you keep bringing him up, which makes me feel like you do want to be with your father, but you're like, you just don't know what to do. So we have this scene with Teresa, Dolores, Jennifer, and Jackie and the other Jennifer, where they are there before everyone gets to the Namaste podcast thing, and it looks like a cathedral, and what's her name? Teresa comes. You can tell she's nervous. She's talking about how like this is supposed to be about forgiveness, and I wanted this cathedral here because I was mad at God, going to jail, my parents dying, but now that I've entered realized the Lord to be back in my life, I'm on a new path. And then Jennifer Fessler is like, if Teresa can forgive God, we can forgive. And that's why I honestly think that the rumors that I heard about them, about Dolores and Jennifer Fessler, again, if I feel like those would be the 2 prime ones that they could bring back, because they're still open to everyone being clicked up and being cool. So everyone followed, gets there. We find out that Danielle actually comes, even though Teresa told Jennifer she wasn't going to be there, mainly because the Kids Bop thing ran very, they filmed it very quickly. So Jennifer is like, oh, why is she here? We see Jennifer talking to somebody about the fight, and then she's doing it where you got Jennifer here, Danielle here, so their backs are to each other and they can hear each other. And I saw a lot of people be like, I don't know why Jennifer talking shit. Danielle hit her. And I'm like, because Danielle hit her. Like, it's okay for Danielle to be in her confessional saying that she hate the bitch and she hopes nothing good ever happens in her life. Then why are we not okay with Jennifer talking trash? And I get it. A lot of people don't like Jennifer. I get it. I like Jennifer. I think she's a key, but I can understand why people don't like her. But I don't like the double standards that we have when it comes to housewives that people hate or don't like, where it's like, it's okay for this lady to wish nothing but the worst for her, but she can't talk shit about her. And then I want y'all to let go of this idea that because you beat somebody's ass, they can't talk shit about you anymore. If in that regard, they're probably going to talk even more shit about you. And even though you can throw in their face, girl, I beat your ass, it's not going to stop them from running their mouth. So just get used to it, accept it, and move on, or keep fighting them. That's just what it is, Like, so they sit down. Teresa and Melissa, do their podcast. She reads this excerpt from her journal about family and how she was like, she always felt like family was sacred, but she realized that it's not sacred to everybody. And that, I guess I wasn't really paying attention. I think she said something about to the effect of like, you can find your own family or create your own family. So everyone had a good time. They go to the back room. Teresa is ushering, like pushing for Jennifer and Danielle to make amends. And when they sit down, Danielle makes a comment where she was like, I'm so surprised you didn't burn up when we walked in here. And she said it to Jennifer. And Jennifer was like, oh. And I said, oh, girl, she kind of got you right there. So then Jennifer was like, see, you showing your true colors. And Danielle said, no, you showed your true colors. And so it got really awkward because Teresa was like, I really want y'all to forgive each other. And then Danielle told Teresa, no. You haven't forgiven half the people in this group, so why do I have to forgive somebody? And then in her confessional, which I actually like this confessional, by the way. I don't like the hair, but Jennifer still looks pretty to me. She was just kind of like, I ride or die for Teresa. And the fact that she's not doing that for me right now, it hurts. It really hurts. And I'm like, girl, you should have known that Teresa only cared about herself. So I don't know why you expected her to ride for you. So Dolores can tell that it's getting like very like tense in there. So she gets up, breaks it up. She's like, hey, Teresa, don't you got to go out there and talk to some people and meet with the fans? She's like, yeah. So Danielle gets up, and as she's walking out, she tells Jennifer, you like shit, by the way. And Jennifer's like, and she got her, like, Danielle hit you 2 for 2, Jennifer. And so Jennifer was like, that trash box? You want me to make friends with that trash box, Teresa? Really, Teresa? And then none of y'all said anything for me. And I'm like, Jennifer, they don't really like you. I wish Jennifer would realize that, stand in it, and move accordingly. That, like, she is by herself. Because, like, a lot of them tolerate her presence. And it's to say, it reminds me of Candace from Real Housewives of Potomac. A lot of them girls really just tolerated Candace. It's like some of them she was able to make friendships with, but ultimately a lot of them don't really like her. So they pick her up and put her down, and they do that same thing with Jennifer. Really, Teresa does. And so Jennifer was just like, for real? So then Dolores gets mad at Jennifer, being like, where was that energy when she was in the room? And I'm like, she had that energy. They were going back and forth. And she was like, why are you yelling at Teresa? And Jennifer's like, I'm not yelling at Teresa. I'm just passionate because she just tried me and none of y'all did anything for me. And then she's like, you know what, Dolores, maybe I just don't handle it the right way, because the right way for me is to pop that shit in the face. And I'm like, is it, girl? Because your reflexes wasn't fast enough when she whopped you. But I'm looking at Dolores like, okay, Dolores, like, what do you want her to do? Fight the lady? Because Jennifer pretty much said, like, I'm not making up with her. I don't want to be friends with her. Like, I'm good on her. Like, what do y'all want from me? I don't want to be cool with her. And then Dolores was like, yeah, you're right. You don't have to be cool with her. Because I'm like, she just talked. Because I don't know if Dolores didn't see the girl say that to her. Like, you look like shit, by the way, and walk out the room. But I'm just like, why would she make up with her? She don't want to make up with her. It's just, this whole situation is stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid. And I'm over this season. I'm over it. That is it That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and definitely hop down in them comments below. Deuces.